On the very first episode of this, we're breaking down my top 10 favorite movies of 2024. We're getting this list out a little bit late, but oh well. Hope you guys are having a happy January, and let's break it down. Break it down. Degeneration. Break it down. Wait. Stop. Hold on. Pause. Reset. Hi, I'm Braeden from the future. And currently you are watching the first episode of Lists on the Nautical Lariat channel. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. I recently saw 2 movies that came out in 2024. However, I only saw them in 2025, so that's the reason why they're not on the list. Those 2 movies are Kung Fu Panda 4, which definitely would have been in the 8, 9, 10 range, just to give you a little idea on where it would have ranked, and The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot, 110%, would have been my number 1 if I saw it in theaters in 2024. So, with that being said, you guys can go ahead and watch past Braeden talk about his movies that he liked in 2024 then, but just keep in mind that the now, which is the future Braeden, had different ideas, but the old list still, I'm so confused with this whole time travel thing. The future list still applies with the past list because the past list was going in with the idea of movies that he saw only in 2024. So nothing has really changed and the timeline is saved. So you're welcome. Anyways, on with the video. Like, subscribe, all that junk. See ya. Rounding out the top of my list at number 10 is actually 2 films. Yes, I have a tie in this list, and actually I have 2 ties in this list, but more on that later. The first one I'm going to talk about is the movie Red 1. Not a lot of people in France saw this movie, mainly because it wasn't released in theaters. It was mainly released on Amazon Prime, and that's when I saw it. I was eagerly waiting to see this movie ever since I saw the trailer. If this movie came out when I was 13 years old, this would be my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Most likely, probably. It probably would have been my favorite action Christmas movie, but at the same time, I really like Die Hard and Lethal Weapon. It would have been one of my favorite action movies taking place around Christmas. Moving down the list into the second number 10 spot is the film Beetlejuice. The only reason that this movie is on this list is because I actually saw it when I was back in the US for one of my friend's weddings, and I went with another friend to go see this movie, which me and him used to see movies all the time when we were younger. So Brody, if you're watching this, I love you, and I really enjoyed watching Beetlejuice with you. On to the actual review of Beetlejuice. It was alright. I'm gonna watch it probably every Halloween. It has those ookity spookity vibes, which I do enjoy. I'm not a horror guy. I don't like scary movies. However, I do like the family-friendly spooky movies to watch around the holiday season, around the spooky season. So yeah, Beetlejuice, and Red 1 are tied in my number 10. On to number 9. Yeah, we're working on it. It's the first episode. What do you want from me? In number 9 is a movie that I actually completely forgot that came out in 2024. I watched it on Amazon. That's becoming a trend, apparently. Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. I actually enjoyed a lot. It was very fun. Yeah, it's just a stupid monster movie. And I'm a stupid man. Of course I'm gonna like it. It's a blockbuster. It's action-packed. King Kong picks up a baby Kong and just uses him as a whip. Like, yeah, that's hilarious. King Kong suplexes Godzilla on a pyramid. It's friggin' awesome. And I enjoyed the big fight at the end with the orangutan and King Kong and the ice Godzilla and the normal Godzilla. My nickname in college was Orangalang because I got long arms. Yeah, I feel for the big orangutan dude. You know, he's my spirit animal. I love him. The Scar King. I think he's dead now. So, yeah. Number 8 is a movie that I didn't think I was going to see in theaters, but as it is a ritual for both me and my wife to have date night and go to the movies, we saw Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. I believe it's... Do I have 2 Empire movies right back to back? Huh. Godzilla X Kong the New Empire and Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Yeah, I have 2 Empire movies back to back. I don't know. It just happened that way. I really enjoyed this Ghostbusters movie. I actually think I enjoyed it more than Ghostbusters Afterlife just because it takes place in New York and it focuses more on the overall team, whether that's the new team or the old team, and they work together, which I really enjoy watching. The antagonist was, whatever, but I thought he was ookity spookity, which I do enjoy a ookity spookity. I will be watching this movie during the spooky season, obviously. And, yeah, that's number 8. Number 7, a movie that I really wasn't gonna see, and this one I really enjoyed, Monkey Man. Dev Patel kicked some serious ass in this movie. It's pretty much a very stereotypical action movie with a very stereotypical hero arc in it where, he's on a revenge quest and then something happens and then he has to train harder and train better and then he finally fulfills his revenge quest, but he's learned a lesson along the way. You've probably heard that story a billion times. I honestly thought it kind of reminded me of Game of Death, which was a old Bruce Lee movie in 1978 that came out after Bruce Lee actually passed away. It was kind of giving me those vibes, but it was kind of like a throwback action movie, and it was so intense and so brutal. So if you're an action fan like I am, go watch Monkey Man. It is John Wick. It is Nobody. It is all these different new action movies that is just intense. So yeah, Monkey Man is number 7. Number 6, and another action movie. This movie I actually wanted to see, but they never released it in theaters. So I had to wait for Amazon Prime. Amazon came in clutch this year. Roadhouse. Conor McGregor versus Jake Gyllenhaal. The fight scenes were so good. The new technology that they used to construct these fight scenes is insane. Everything looks so crisp and looks so hyper realistic. I need to see more movies with this type of fight choreography and this type of fight technology. It is so good. And Conor McGregor is so quotable and so friggin' funny in this movie. I'll be walking around the streets of Paris as an insane guy going, I don't wonder what this is fucking about. Where the fuck is everyone? He is just so charismatic. You can say what you want about the guy. I know he's a very controversial figure in all of entertainment and sports at the moment. But if you like the old Roadhouse and you want to watch the new Roadhouse, do it. Because it's so good. This movie should have came out in theaters. So, yeah. Roadhouse. At number 5, the only movie that I saw twice this year was... It's Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, if you have not seen this, what are you doing? Go watch Deadpool and Wolverine. Actually, pause the movie right now. Go watch it. I'll wait. Did you see it yet? Okay, cool. Deadpool and Wolverine was so good. So funny, so action-packed. I will say, though, the only reason I saw it twice was because I think I overhyped it the first time. So I kind of changed my perspective and went into it thinking of it more as a comedy and more as a parody of MCU movies. And when I changed that, I ended up enjoying it a lot more. And I ended up taking it as face value of what it is and not what I actually wanted it to be. So I think that's a very fair criticism. I do think that this film could have been better had there not been a writer's strike. I understand the writer's strike. Those things happen in Hollywood. But this movie definitely did take some hits because of that, and you can kind of tell with some of the dialogue and some of the plot points that are in this movie. I still think it was good. They did a really good job for the hand that they were dealt. If you haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine, go watch it now. It should be on Disney Plus, I think. Number 4 is another movie I wasn't expecting to see. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes definitely wasn't on my radar. I'm not a huge Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes fans or Planet of the Apes in general. But this movie really made me excited for this franchise. And this being the first one of the franchise that I actually saw, I really enjoyed it. It made me go back and rewatch all the other ones, or at least start rewatching the other ones. I might even watch the one with Mark Wahlberg. I don't know. We'll see. It was awesome. It made me walk around like a chimpanzee for about a week. My wife hated me, and I was just banging on my chest, and I'm really good at walking like a chimpanzee. It's so good. It's so good. If you're making a Planet of the Apes movie, let me audition. Let me audition. I can kill it at motion capture. Just put me in, coach. Put me in. Number 3 is a movie that I was actually super excited about. I watched the first one twice before seeing this one, and I think there's been a lot of hate on this movie since it came out, and it is totally unjustified. Y'all need to chill. You know what I'm talking about. Gladiator 2 was a good time at the movies. Yes, of course, if you compare it to the film that came out 25 years ago, that transcended action films and dramas and just the overall swords and sandals genre, yeah, of course you're going to be like, well, yeah, the first one was better. Don't compare the two. It's been 25 years. Get over it. The second one, if you don't put anything attached to it, you just walk into the movie theater and you're like, I'm going to watch a movie. It's a good movie. It's a good movie. I would actually go see it again in theaters, if it was still in theaters right now. The story was good. The acting was good. The action scenes were phenomenal. And the score, it was nostalgic. And Denzel, I never saw a Denzel movie before Gladiator 2. For some reason, I just wasn't watching Denzel Washington movies. This movie, this performance, made me go back and rewatch all of his movies. Me and my wife are going on a Denzel Washington bender, and it has been phenomenal. The Equalizer movies, Training Day, Two Guns with Mark Wahlberg. He's came up twice in this list. I don't know why. Yeah, Gladiator 2. It's good. Gladiator came out 25 years ago. Future's now, old man. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. Bruno, you know who you are. Yeah. Number 2. Another movie that I think got a lot of hate, and I don't know why. The Fall Guy was so funny and so good. It was a love letter to stunt performers. Why? Why hate on it? Ryan Gosling was great. Emily Blunt was great. Aaron Taylor Johnson was hilarious. I will say probably the action scenes, if you took off a little bit of that CGI gloss that you put over all the practical effects and all the practical stunts that you did in the film, the stunts would look more impressive. They showed the stunts during the credits to show you that, yes, these stunts were real. The Fall Guy, I like it, okay? You need carbs just for simple cognitive function. Number 1. This is the other tie of the list. The first one I'm going to list is my alternate, and the second one I'm going to list is my actual number 1. The first one, technically speaking, came out in 2023, in December of 2023. However, in other countries around the world, it came out in January of 2024. The Iron Claw. Wow. The Iron Claw was so good. I cried probably 3 times during the movie. At the same time, I'm a pretty easy crier. I cry at a lot of things. That's okay. Dudes cry. Let it out. The story, if you don't know the Von Erich story, which I did know it going into this, they tell it so well. And the wrestling is classic wrestling. Like, I love me some classic wrestling. That's the style that I watch the most. I'm watching stuff from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Most of the time, I'm watching that stuff more often than I'm watching the newer stuff. This movie is pure Americana. It's pro wrestling. When you watch this movie, it transports you back to the time in which it was happening, which I believe was the late 80s, early 90s. It was just so good. And the performances, Jeremy Allen White, Zac Efron, just phenomenal. When this movie first was being talked about and it was in pre-production and I heard about the castings, I thought Jeremy Allen White was going to be Kevin Von Erich and Zac Efron was going to be Carrie Von Erich. If you look at their sizes and their body features and their facial features, to me, I still think that would have been a better casting choice. And when it comes to dramatic actors, I think Jeremy Allen White might be better than Zac Efron. And I think if you just switch the roles, this movie arguably could have been even better than it was. But that's not to say that what they did was as close to perfect as you possibly could do. Zac Efron as Kevin Von Erich, Jeremy Allen White as Carrie Von Erich, all the other beautiful performances by all the other actors. Absolutely phenomenal movie. If this technically wouldn't have came out in 2023, this would be my number one. The Iron Claw. Go watch it. Make sure you got the tissues ready because you're going to be crying. So be prepared. Be prepared. Number one, Inside Out 2 was great. For a kids movie, especially like a Pixar movie, I believe it's Pixar. The message behind the movie is so good. I think if you're in that age range of 8 to 13 years old, this movie is a great movie to watch. I've heard the criticism, some kids may not understand this movie, but you also have to take into consideration that one, kids are pretty smart, and two, they're going to understand it eventually. So yeah, I think the message behind Inside Out 2 was really good. I think the performances was really good. I absolutely loved it. I think it is definitely my definitive number one on this list for now. So yeah, that was the very first episode of Lists. I broke down my favorite movies of 2024. And on the next episode, I'm going to break down my least favorite movies of 2024. The worst movies I saw all year. And guess what? There's quite a few of them. So yeah, like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell notification, wherever it is. Might be over here. I don't really know where it is. Yeah, and until next time, have a great day. Savvy.
Whoa, Black Betty, bam, ba-lam. Whoa, Black Betty, bam, ba-lam. Black Betty had a child.